Crossovers are as old as time. I mean, all those mythology stories where Greek heroes cross paths with each other count as crossovers of some sort. Even the world's greatest detective, Sherlock Holmes.
Oi, we ain't done yet!
This mustn't register on an emotional level. First, discombobulate. Dazed, discombobulate. Distract target. Discombobulate.
Cross paths with Lupin, the world's greatest thief, in their own separate story. So yeah, crossovers are a pretty big deal. The point of a crossover usually is to intertwine fandoms of different media, in hopes of benefiting both sides. No better example of crossovers than the MCU. Unless you are living under a rock buried in the deepest ocean pits, you must know about the MCU, and ignoring its current state.
You almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. I'm
you are way more.
It was the most ambitious crossover of its time. And it shows, as superhero media became very mainstream, to the extent that there's a great deal of fatigue from it. But there are many crossovers out there that simply are batshit insane or just make no sense. And in this video, I am to introduce you to some of them. Final Fantasy is one of the oldest and most iconic JRPG series out there, starting on the NES in the 1990s and going strong till this day on the PS5. Obviously, a series of this influence had a couple of mobile games, and I'm not talking about ports or pseudo remasters, I mean original games. There was about 4: Record Keeper, Brave Exvius, Mobius, the best one, and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius War of the Visions. Try saying that 5 times in a row. In actuality, War of the Visions is a pseudo-sequel to Brave Exvius. The sequel is a strategy RPG, so there's a lot of games you could collab with. Maybe another strategy RPG series or Addison Rae. They collab with Addison Rae.
Touch this. Touch this.
And no, this isn't some sort of April Fool's joke or a bit. This was a real collab. You may be thinking it was a filler collab due to a content drought, and that's not even the case. This was heavily pushed on app stores as a reason to why you should get into the game. So you're probably thinking, did the fans want this? And no, that would not be even the case. When the collab was announced, players were fucking baffled. Most didn't even know Addison Rae, let alone care enough about her being in the game now. Before further discussion, I would like to show you her ultimate attack.
I'm center stage. Watch closely. Sometimes you just gotta move. Are you feeling it? Woo! There we go.
Hey, no matter what, we can't say they didn't do the research. So the question is, why would they do this? But my question is, why would they pick her? I mean, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius did that before, twice in fact, but the difference was, it was with Katy Perry and Ariana Grande, 2 mega celebrities. While weird and nonsensical, but at least these 2 were and still are massive musicians with a great deal of influence and a massive fanbase. So yes, weird as fuck, but can kinda work. So the only explanation now to why would someone do that collab is if an executive saw they could get Addison's young and pretty big audience interested in Final Fantasy, which is just nigh impossible. I'm just saying, the only way for an Addison Rae fan to know Final Fantasy is if they have an addiction to fanboy porn and stumbled on Cloud wearing a dress. The Predator is not a movie about a Minecraft.
Do you remember the times where I made me the fool because I wanted you to stand out, dear
Roblox or even a commentary YouTuber. And not even the notorious EDB445, but a badass alien hunter who decides the hunt of its life. An action movie made in 1987 that was so successful it spawned a media empire, sequels, games, comics, and even a crossover with another incredibly famous alien, the Xenomorph. I mean, they fit each other very well. World's greatest hunter and the world's most deadly cockroach. A match made in heaven. Not done justice by mediocre to outright bad movies though. But we're not talking about the current state of both franchises, but rather the Predator comics. The comics did a lot to expand upon the mythology of the Predators, and even had a couple of crossovers. Batman, Superman, the Justice League. why there's so many DC crossovers. All those are weird, very weird in fact. But the weirdest without a doubt is the Predator vs Archie, and it's not only the weirdest one, but the most fucking brutal. Bloody hell. Who made this? Or a better question, who is this made for? I doubt anyone who likes Archie would enjoy seeing the characters getting decapitated, skin blown up to bits, sliced to smithereens. This whole thing feels like some sad attempt to recapture the fame and influence Archie comics had back in the day. And well, it very much is. Explaining the history of Archie comics and their downfall is not doable, and I would rather let EDP445 babysit my 13-year-old daughter than talk about the Netflix series. So if you want more detailed description, iPad 12 got you. Some of the most popular games in the world are literally built off of crossovers: Smash Bros, Marvel vs Capcom, and Kingdom Hearts. But those are pretty mainstream, everybody knows them. But there is a game that has little to no popularity while also being very fucking good. Published on the PS2 by Namco, Namco x Capcom was released only in Japan. A strategy RPG featuring characters from both companies, like Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Kazuya from Tekken, Mega Man and Roll from Mega Man Legends, Cosmos, what sort of name is that, from Xenosaga, and fucking Klonoa from Klonoa. Imagine pairing Kazuya with him. Namco x Capcom sold very well, but 131,000 copies in its first 6 months, and it was a top seller as well, so it was a matter of when a sequel would come out. They sure took their sweet fucking time, as 6 years later Project Crossstone was announced in 2012 and released a year later in 2013 on the 3DS. This one was way more ambitious with a selection of characters, as now we got Tails characters, X and Zero from Mega Man X, even fucking Dante was there chillin'. The game got rated very well, 8s and 9s out of 10. This one also sold very fucking well, selling 400,000 copies and spawning 2 more sequels. You are possibly wondering why I am skimming through these games, and the reason is, well, cause giving any of these games the justice they deserve in this video is not possible, so I would rather make a whole video covering them than just shoving them in this video. So if given the chance, give these games a shot, you will not regret it. From discussing a hidden gem and a great execution of a crossover to one of the biggest train wrecks of its time. Jump Force was a long time coming. We had Jump Stars on the DS, which was a Japan exclusive, then J-Stars Victory Versus, which was a PS3 exclusive. The build-up for Jump Force was massive, and the hype was very evident. Then the release happened. 2019 was the year Jump Force released, and not even days after the shit show started. Memes about the god-awful story mode having literal middle schooler level animation The game looked ugly, no, fugly. The characters lacked balance, and overall, this was not a very good game. The fact Jump Force had IPs like Naruto, One Piece and Dragon Ball, yet utterly bombed like it did, is impressive to say the least. I just hope that people stop giving Spike Chunsoft fighting games to develop. These guys can only make visual novels. One thing I would like to focus on is the art style of the game. Many anime games go for a cel-shaded style, which personally I like, as it's an almost timeless look. They age way better than realistic looking games. Games like Okami and Beautiful Joe will always age better than games who aim for realism like GTA 3 or San Andreas. Something that Spike Chunsoft to develop Jump Force did when developing J-Stars. So why the fuck did they pick this as their style? This looks fucking awful. It looks bad now, and it looked bad back when it was announced and released. Also, a fucking arena battler? There's a great video by Stumblebee about how anime arena battlers get no respect in both the gaming community and especially the fighting community, as it's a tired formula every fresh and new anime IP goes for, almost always doing it and producing a mediocre, bad, or lazy result in the end. Don't believe me? My Hero Academia and Justice both in fact are pretty mediocre. That One Punch Man fighting game that lasted about as much as I do in bed, and case in point was Jump Force and J-Stars. Similar to Cross Zone, there's a lot to say about it I can't shove in this video. But unlike Cross Zone, it's all negative. I'm thinking of making a whole video going over the history of Jump Force, beginnings and end. So if this video gets like 50 likes, I'll do it. I know it's impossible, but it's nice to dream big.